that you use this engine before you put your option down, rather than later you end up having to regret your decision later. And then you also give a breakdown of your result. For example, it will tell you your purchase price is 2.2 million, and your home loan, because of TDSR, you can only loan 1.03 million, and then your down payment will have to be 1.16 million. But the down payment is not the only cash you have to stamp out. It will help you to calculate what is your tax, legal, and valuation, which means that in this case, because you have a buyer's stamp duty, and your second property is additional buyer's stamp duty plus legal and valuation fee, so the engine will calculate for you all the total cost outlay that you have to stamp out, and then it will tell you what is the total cash required. If you can afford, then you can buy this property. If you can't afford, then you can go for a lower tier property based on what is suggested by the engine earlier, which is to tell you based on your current income, your current debt, maybe you can only go for $2 million property. So you find another $2 million property, you enter the same permutation, the engine will say, okay, you can borrow up to the maximum of 50% stipulated by the government. Then this property you can buy. Of course, you will still see a report to tell you, even if you buy this property, what is the total cash outlay you have to come up with. So this gives you a very clear idea before you go into signing any option, what is the total cash outlay you need to come up with, not only minus the bank loan, but also the stamp duty, the ABST that you need to stamp out with. So this gives you a very clear prediction of your cash flow when you buy this property. And this is very important because some of the bank may not want to do all these things for you unless you have already signed the option. But by then, you already paid 1%. So if you want to go stun, you may end up losing some money. So this is a detailed summary that the report also provides you. Okay, so this is a service that our partner Smart Loan has helped us to develop. So they have spent about 6 months to create this engine, incorporating so many variables. So of course, there's a development cost. So as of now, there's an annual subscription fee of $99. And for you, for this weekend seminar, it's $89 per year. But supposing you say, I don't think I'll buy so many property in 1 year. You want to take a trial of 14 days, it's only $9.99. So I strongly urge you, if you are really going to buy your next property in Singapore, whether it's your first, second, or third, whether you think you have a lot of cash at bank or you think you have very high income, use the $999 as a test to ensure that your current credit card, car loan, your housing loan does allow you to buy that favorite property of yours. Because I have experienced and seen so many cases of people have to forego their 1% when their loan got rejected, or even their loan is accepted, is for a lower amount, and they find that they cannot afford to stamp out the additional cash, and they have to forego that 1%. So we have the computer terminal outside. I have my team who will guide you to how to use the engine. If you are keen, you can sign up for this seminar. It's only $999 for 14 days, or it's only $89 for 1 whole year. And I strongly urge you to use this for financial prudence. That's the end of my presentation. I will hand back to the experts who will share with you a macro and micro outlook for the market in Singapore, Malaysia. And once again, I wish that all of you will make more money in your property investment for the year of the horse. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, I shared with you about how to use TDSR calculator in SC Property to calculate what is your budget available to buy a property. Because in today's context, budget is not just determined by how much money you have in your bank account, but it's also determined by how much MAS think you can borrow. So today, I will share with you another important aspect of your property purchase, which you should do your due diligence before you make the big step, which is determine the fair market pricing of your selected property. Okay, I think it's very important for us as property owners and investors to know how much is my property worth, because that will allow you to decide what is a fair price to fetch when you want to sell your property. Secondly, for a property buyer, it's important for you to know how much is the worth of that property I'm buying to, so that you don't end up overpaying for it. And how can Singapore Property Watch, SPW, help you to achieve that? Okay, in SC Property, we have a section called Singapore Property Watch, which is empowering tools to allow investors and buyers to know the true worth of the property. When you go into Singapore Property Watch, we have a search box for you to search for any projects in Singapore, any HDB block and estate in Singapore, any commercial industrial properties in Singapore. When you do a search, like in this case, Solar at Sinaran, we'll give you 6 tabs, which will allow you to understand the property better. The first tab is the Summary tab. The Summary tab allows you to understand the buyer profile. For example, in this case, for this project, we have only about half are Singaporean buyers. The other half consists of PR, foreigners, and company. And of course, it's a very heartlander project. You may have more Singaporeans buying that project. And this summary also gives you an idea of the rental yield, as well as the completion, number of units, and the buyer profile based on HDB address or private address. So this gives you a sense of who are the people who buy these projects. And the second part of the buyer profile is you can understand the unit size distribution. This is very important because for some of us who are, let's say, single, we may not want to go for a project that are a lot of big units, because there could be a lot of children swimming in a swimming pool, crying. You may not like that. Similarly, if you are a family, you may not want to go for a project that has many small size units, because it doesn't fit into your preference of where you want to stay. But the gist of this Singapore Property Watch is the second tab, which is the transaction price. It's so important for us to know what is the past transaction of that project. Personally, as a property investor, I have overpaid from $40,000 to $100,000 when I didn't know the past transaction, when I based my asking price purely based on the listing. But we all know that to base purely based on listing is only selecting the lowest asking price. But that doesn't mean that it's a fair market price. And to depend on bank valuation is also not 100%, because you will know that the range between the lowest indicative bank valuation and the highest indicative bank valuation can be as high as 6 figures. So to know what is the last transaction price for the project you have selected will allow you to make an offer that is not too high as a buyer. As a seller, will also allow you to sell, not undersell your property. And this also gives you an indicative in terms of unit size, PSF, contract date, and the price. We have a dual package here, the freemium model. The free model is you can sign up free. You can view up to the last 15 transactions on the last 6 months. But for those who want to view more, then there's a paid model, which I'll share later. And the other thing is, for the paid model, you'll be able to see all the unit number, whereas the free model, all this unit number will be masked. For those who wants to go to the extent of knowing the floor number, the unit number of the transaction price, then that will be the paid subscription that you can go for. The other important element is the tower view. Why is the tower view important? Since you already have the transaction price. But the tower view is important when you go for a typical condo project. We all know that even you know the average PSF, even if you know the transaction price for a 6th floor unit, that is still not good enough. What if the unit you are buying is the 20th floor? And we all know that the price premium paid for 20th floor is definitely different from that of a 6th floor unit. And we also know that even if it's the same floor, but have a different facing, one facing the expressway, the other one facing the sea, the premium is also totally different. So this tower block tower view allow you to have a better sense of which are the premium stack and which are the premium floor and how much premium is the buyer has paid to go for high floor unit. And this will allow you to make a more informed decision when you make an offer or when you decide to sell your property. And the other important tab is the profitability analysis. This will give you a sense of the timing of when to sell, when to buy, and you also know how much profit your seller is going to make when he sells the property to you. And as a Chinese saying goes, 知己知彼. If you know that he's going to make 500,000 profit because you know that he has bought around the same time as 0807, because these people who bought at 0807 are paying that kind of price, then you will be in a better position to negotiate with him. And for investors like us, the rental yield, the rental transaction is equally important. You may want to listen to what others say, but what is more critical is to check out the real past rental transaction of that project. So this gives you an idea that project A, 3-bedroom unit, can command $6,000 or $8,000 rental. And when you buy that property, you know that that is the kind of rental this project can command. And we also have a rental yield analysis on the right side, which is for the paid service version. The rental yield analysis will help you to calculate based on the past transaction, what is the rental yield for the big unit, what is the rental yield for the small unit. So this again gives you a very strong idea and indication what you are buying into. And for tenants, this is equally important because that allows you to ensure that you don't overpay to the landlord. So what we are doing is we are adding a lot of transparency to the market. And the last tab is the nearby comparison tab. We strongly encourage you in ST Property to encourage you to compare more than one option. Even though you like that project very much, we strongly encourage you to compare with surrounding, to compare the PSF, to compare the rental yield, and to compare the leasehold. And this will allow you to make a better decision. And in ST Property, when you do a search for a particular project, we will also indicate not only the price, but also the PSF, as you notice on your left side. And when you look at the asking PSF, you will then compare with the right side, which is a recent transaction. You can compare the PSS difference, and you can see which listing is over asking the last transaction, which listing is under asking the last transaction. Then this will give you a better feel of which property is more undervalued, which property is more better for value. Don't just look at the asking price, because sometimes the asking price may look nice on the surface because it's cheap, but when you look at the PSF, actually it's more expensive than the last transaction. So we encourage you to look at all these important data points before you make the important decision. And other than all these quantitative analysis, SPW also aim to empower buyers like you with qualitative analysis. So we have the SPW Insights, where we will use all these transaction data and listing data, and we will churn out some interesting property insights for you to read, to understand, so that you can make a better decision. And we also have a macro trend analysis. Just now what I have shown you is the micro. You can drill down to project level, block level. Macro analysis allows you to have an overview of what are the transaction price for Ang-Mo-Kio, what are the transaction price for for HDB, and what's the transaction price for, let's say, commercial industrial. You can drill down up to property type level. You can drill down up to even the estate level. And you can even drill down up to Ang-Mo-Kio 3-room flat. What was the transaction price trend? And not only transaction price trend, on the column you notice we also have the bar chart that represent the volume. Sometimes the price may be stationary or still going up a bit, but if you notice there's a constant drop in volume, it may be pointing to a softening market in the time to come. So with this volume and price analysis, you are able to gather information on where is the market heading in terms of the location, in terms of the property type. So I strongly urge you to play around with our service to equip yourself with more knowledge. Singapore Property Watch, as a service by ST Property, has been widely covered in our Straits Times and also our Chinese press. So Straits Times has always used us to compare the transaction price with the asking price to identify which are the estate, which are the project whereby asking price has fallen below the transaction price, which we believe a lot of you are looking at. And we have also been covered by the Chinese press, whereby we identify some popular HDB estate and which are the HDB block in the estate whereby transaction price has fallen and asking price has continued to trend downwards. Again, this gives you an indication of where to buy. Okay, just one slide of a small little sales talk. We have this special promotion in this property seminar, especially for you. 1 year subscription, $150. For you today, $120. I have an email here of my staff who is in charge of this product. You can sign up in this website, STProperty.sg/SPW promo. You need to be a member to sign up. And we all know that property is so important, $1 million, $2 million. Difference between a right decision and a wrong decision can cost you at least $100,000, if not more, $500,000. So $120 investment is a small investment for you to ensure that you make the right decision. So I strongly urge you to, after this, go to the ST Property booth as well as the terminal outside the conference room to sign up for the package. For those of you who don't want to put in the $120, you can sign up for the free package, try out for yourself. At least this information will definitely help you to make a better decision. With that, I wish that all of you will have a profitable year ahead for the year of the horse. Thank you.